Migrating motor complex, MMC, fasting, intermittent fasting, 2 meals a day, 1 meal a day, no meals a day. What is the answer for SIBO? Oh my God. It is so overwhelming and confusing and frustrating and frankly scary out there if you have SIBO. And this is one of the big questions I see the most. What is the best, ideal, perfectest meal timing if you have SIBO? Don't you worry, my friend. I'm going to answer that in today's video. Stay tuned. Now, there's a chance that you might be wondering, why does this matter? Why is she making a video about meal timing for SIBO? That's kind of crazy. The gist for those newbies among us is that you need to promote motility, particularly something called the migrating motor complex, or the MMC, if you want to clear the SIBO bacteria out of your small intestine and get them down to the colon where they belong. But here's the catch. The MMC only really works when you're in a fasted state, over 3 hours or so fasted. So the idea is if you're snacking all the time or grazing, or if you're not perfectly spacing your meals, you're going to be doomed to have SIBO forever because you're turning off the MMC and you're not going to have the good motility to clear that stuff out of your intestine. And there's probably a little morsel of truth to this. I do think that we need to be mindful of when we're eating, and we need to probably abandon the idea that was popular for a lot of years. That is that everybody should eat 6 small meals a day to stoke their metabolism. I think that that was probably not good advice. But it can get really confusing and really scary and overwhelming if you're in the SIBO community, because people will start saying that you need to do intermittent fasting. You need to skip breakfast. You need to skip dinner. You need to have 2 meals a day. You need to have 1 meal a day. You need to do fasting periods for several days. And the reality is that not everybody can do that. And it's very daunting and scary and overwhelming to many people to think about doing that. They just want to live their life and they just want to eradicate this damn SIBO and move on. And the thought of eating 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day is not going to be super helpful for them. And this is particularly true if you are a person who's struggling to get enough nourishment, enough calories, enough fiber, enough vitamins and minerals. If you are not adequately nourishing yourself, we cannot have you drop meals. That would be irresponsible and honestly kind of scary to have you do that. This is where people get in a pickle with SIBO and they start dropping a ton of weight. And people say, well, that's just part of the journey. Oh, you're getting healthier. Not necessarily. A lot of people become very malnourished and they're starving themselves in order to try to beat the SIBO. But, honestly, I know that everybody has good intentions. Your functional doctor, Dr. Pimentel, whoever told you that this was important, had the best of intentions. And there is some science to support the idea of the MMC really kicking in after the 2nd or 3rd hour of being fasted. So the logic behind this recommendation does have some sound proof to it. The idea of having 4 hours between each of your meals makes some sense. But here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to give you a practical version of the perfect day for a SIBO eater. You ready? So we have about 16 hours to work with in a day, right? There's 24 hours in a day, here on planet Earth at least, and you sleep for about 8 of those hours. So from waking up to bedtime, you have about 16 hours to play with. And again, the goal is probably somewhere around 3 or 4 hours of fasted time in between each meal if you can do it. And I'm going to get to the if you can do it in a minute. So my radical new treatment plan for SIBO, right here, right now, if you're the first to hear it, is you wake up and try to eat some sort of a breakfast within about an hour of waking up. If you're not hungry immediately, that's okay. If you go to the gym first, that's fine. If you have to take your thyroid medication, that's fine. Just try to eat a meal within about an hour of waking up. Again, if it's not exactly 60 minutes, if it's like 63 minutes, it's not a big deal. Just try to eat something in the morning. Grandma was right. Breakfast really is the most important meal of the day. And honestly, this is my biggest problem I have with intermittent fasting, is that 99% of the time, people say they do intermittent fasting and they cut out breakfast. And that's the opposite of how you want to do intermittent fasting if you were to go down that road. So please eat breakfast. That's the shtick there. Then let's say you eat breakfast at, 7, 8, maybe even 9 o'clock. You go 3, 4 hours until midday. For a lot of us, this is about 12 o'clock, noon. And then you go ahead and you eat a lunch. Then let's say you keep going a bit longer. You eat lunch at 12 or 12:30. Then you get to maybe the 5:30, 6 p.m. kind of mark, and you go ahead and you eat your dinner. And then that's it. That's the perfect meal timing for SIBO. It's 3 square meals a day. It's the same crap that we've been saying for generations. It's the stuff your grandma would have told you. Eat 3 square meals a day, don't skip breakfast. That is the perfect meal plan for most people with SIBO. The problem is that we have snacks and treats and goodies, and we have erratic schedules. So one day you might eat lunch at noon, but then the next day you skip your lunch altogether and you're starving and then you have to eat dinner at 3. Or another day you eat lunch at 1 o'clock and then you're starving here, so you have a little snacky poo before you have lunch. The thing that messes you up more often in the SIBO space is being inconsistent with your mealtime. I don't think that the actual hours and even the 4-hour between meals thing, I don't think that works, or I don't think that matters nearly as much as the consistency. Try your best to eat breakfast around the same time every day. Try your best to eat lunch at the same time every day. Try your best to eat dinner around the same time every day. Yes, there's always going to be exceptions. Human life is tricky and squirrely and weird, but try to nail this down to the best of your ability 90+% of the time, and I think that you could probably pull this off. Now, going back to what I said earlier, the if you can kind of crowd, this might not be doable for some of you for 2 reasons that I could think of. Number 1, hypoglycemia. When I had hypoglycemia, I can tell you right now, making it from breakfast around 8 a.m. through my first 2 classes of the day and to our 12 o'clock lunch period wasn't going to happen. I would have gotten a hypoglycemic headache right about here. So you know what I had to do? I had a snack right there. Right about 10 a.m. I had my first snack. And then I would eat lunch at 12. Same thing. We eat lunch at 12. I had classes until about 5 p.m. I guarantee you I would have gotten a hypoglycemic headache right about here. So I also had a snack here. And then, because I was coming out of the 6 small meal a day to stoke your metabolism kind of era, and because I had hypoglycemic symptoms, I would eat dinner and then I would actually have another snack before bed. And you could look at this and say, oh my God, that is like a SIBO person's worst nightmare right there. You're never going to get any MMC progress whatsoever. But I will tell you, and I said this in a previous video, I healed what I think might have been SIBO. Granted, I didn't know SIBO existed and I didn't have a breath test and nobody knew what a FODMAP was, so it was the ancient times. But I healed my gut despite SIBO symptoms, and I ate like this the whole time. It wasn't until after I healed my gut that my hypoglycemia got better, and I noticed that I was organically able to drop out snacks gradually. But I ate this way the whole time I healed my gut, and I was able to do it. So my point in saying this is if you have to prioritize your blood sugar and you have hypoglycemic symptoms, do that rather than fighting this battle between hypoglycemia symptoms and trying to stoke your MMC. Hypoglycemia or malnourishment always has to win. So to the lady in the Facebook group that inspired this post who was asking about meal timing for SIBO, and she said that she was having a hard time getting enough calories and that she wasn't feeling good, and all of these well-intentioned people in the comments said you need to eat 1 meal or 2 meals a day. This goes out to you. Please prioritize nourishment above and beyond anything else. Get your 3 square meals a day, maybe even snacks if you have hypoglycemia, and I promise you, you can still heal your gut, even if you did that, because I did it myself. Now, kind of tangentially related to the hypoglycemic crowd, some people feel like they don't get good sleep unless they have a little snack half an hour before bedtime. If you are in that crowd and you're thinking, oh, everybody says not to eat after dinner, what do I do? Again, you have to prioritize sleep over this MMC thing. Sleep is going to directly affect your vagus nerve and your nervous system function, and therefore your ability to heal from SIBO. So please prioritize good sleep. If you know that you need a little snack before bed, go ahead and do it, and rest assured that you absolutely still can heal your SIBO, even if you're not adhering to the 3 square meal a day kind of thing that I recommended in this video. And please be rest assured that you do not need to drop down to 2 meals or 1 meal per day in order to heal your SIBO. This is a really great example of the double-edged sword effect of the internet. On the one hand, it's wonderful. The internet brought you to me and my channel and this video and hopefully the clarity that came with this video. But on the other hand, the internet leads us to forums and groups and less reputable sources of information and confusing, conflicting information. Everybody has an opinion and everybody loves to share their opinion. And unfortunately, a lot of those opinions are either incorrect or they're incorrect for you as an individual. And you're just here because you want to feel better. And I feel that not only because I work with people like you every dang day, but because I was in your shoes. I was trying to heal my gut all those years ago, and it was very confusing and frustrating then, even before the internet was where it is today. I used a primitive form of the internet to try to heal my gut. But if you are just in a position where you're so overwhelmed and daunted and you don't know what to do and you're trying to build a protocol for you as an individual that's going to work and you want to just weed through the bullshit and figure out what the actual truth of the matter is, I'd encourage you to check out FODMAP Freedom. It's my group coaching program. We're going to enroll again come January, and it is getting phenomenal results. I'm talking about like 90 days start to finish, and we have people who are eating all the FODMAPs again. We have people who are pooping like champions, and they were having one bowel movement a week previously. We have people where their bloating is gone. They have zero bloating, and they're able to eat whatever they want and engage in their life and feel great. And it's with the methods I'm teaching in FODMAP Freedom. And it's not anything particularly sexy or hard. It's not like I'm going to tell you that you have to eat one meal a day. It's just a systematic approach for treating SIBO and Candida and dysbiosis and IBS and this whole mishmash that you're probably here learning about right now. And we're doing it in a way that is going to spare your mental health, spare your microbiome, and really treat the root causes and the foundational reasons why you got SIBO or Candida in the first place. Again, we're going to be enrolling again in January, and I would love to see you get these results too. Go ahead and check out the link down below. It's just to join the wait list, and what that means is that I'm going to send you an email with information as soon as we're enrolling again. That way you can get first dibs on your seat. I did actually have to close the enrollment early last time because I didn't want the class to get too big. I want to make sure everybody gets individual attention and the opportunity to ask questions on the Q&As. So I capped it in the last enrollment. I'm probably going to have to do that again. So make sure you join the wait list so that you can get first dibs and you can explore whether or not this is the route that you want to take. And I hope one way or another that 2024 is the year that you say goodbye to SIBO or Candida or bloating or dysbiosis or whatever brought you here to this video. Hey guys, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, ring the bell, click the like button, and leave a comment down below with the videos that you would like to see me do next. Doing all of those really helps support the channel and support my efforts in making as many videos as possible for you guys. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.